Greetings, Dr. Tal here. Hope everyone's doing great. It's 2 days in a row right here, so trying to keep the channel alive and let people know that I'm not gone. So, but anyway, here at the restaurant again, and on Saturday, it hasn't been too busy. We've got a few customers come in, but this time of year, can be a little tricky with restaurants and things of that sort. But and then again, we are a raw food, healthy restaurant, so most people like to volunteer their own demise, which is, part of life, I guess. I guess I've learned that people like to destroy themselves on purpose. So, but if you want something healthy, then this is probably the best place you can come and partake in. And that's not being braggadocious. It's just the truth. The food here is healing. But anyway, I do want to kind of touch on just the restoration of our community and how that is kind of parallel with the choices in food that we make. And when we think about vitamins and minerals, nutrition per se, we can only accept these things. When I say we, I mean in quotation marks. We can only accept these things when they've been destroyed or cooked or scorched or fried or baked or somehow in this unnatural form. Then I think about that for a little bit. I'm thinking like, okay, what does that say about us? What did we do before we used fire, to scorch food? How were we consuming food? What were we doing before vaccinations? It makes you want to think, man, I feel really sorry for your ancestors because they didn't have vaccines, they didn't have ovens and stoves, and, they didn't have all these additives in food, and yet they were able to build structures on the planet that still stand today. You look at the dental records, the fossils of the skeletal remains of our ancestors, you'll see that over 95% of them are cavity free. There was no issue with wisdom teeth growing on because your wisdom teeth grow in irregularly based off nutritional deficient diet. So it makes you kind of think about, okay, well, if my ancestors had their wisdom teeth in and they were cavity free, they didn't have all these ailments today, which when you read these papyrus, you'll see that these diseases we have today are new age diseases because we're eating new age food or food contraband. You really start to kind of scratch your head. It's like, well, maybe should try to get back to nature as much as possible. So I mean, it's just some things to think about. But when you really understand what cooking food and scorching food does to the minerals and the vitamins, you'll see that it starts to separate the minerals and vitamins and basically the nutrients in the food, and starts to tear it apart, and it makes it become irregular. And it made me think about, well, that's kind of like how they want our community to be. They want us to be broken apart and irregular. They don't want us to be in our natural state. So it's almost as if the food that we're choosing to eat is only a manifestation of our own thought processes and the things we can choose to engage into, because vitamin C comes in a family, vitamin B is a family, vitamin A is a family, calcium is a family, potassium is a family. There's at least 12 different calciums out there. It's not just one calcium out there. But we just say calcium and think it's one blanket thing. It's different types of calcium, different types of zinc, different types of iron. So But when you cook these things, they break apart. Hopefully you see where I'm getting at though. These things break apart, they divorce from each other. They no longer are as strong as they were before, which causes a disease-like state in the body. And if you follow the story of Asar, Aset, and Haru, you see that when the Aset, our Asar was actually chopped into 14 pieces, then you'll see that his body went back into the earth, and then from there his body was put back together by Aset. What that represents is basically that we must go back to the earth for the body to be back into its whole state. You know, this avatar that we're in, this third dimensional projection from really a fourth dimensional projection on the third three-dimensional plane. So it's very intriguing sometimes to me to think about. You know, the choices that we make and the ramifications of those choices, and how we continue to participate in certain activities, even though we know that it's not to our own, benefit. You know, so it's just for lack of better words, food for thought. And I know it's the colder seasons now, so people tend to want to eat something, warmer, and I get that. Trust me, I get it. But food is nature's most perfect medicine, so you want to make sure that the food that you're consuming is a choice that you can not feel guilty about, and it's sustainable. You should try to be consuming as much raw food as possible, especially when we're not in the sunlight. This time of year, we're very vitamin D deficient. If you want to know if you're insufficient or deficient in a mineral or vitamin, if you take your blood pressure, the top number, if that's out of range, then you're nutrient insufficient. If your bottom number, so you have the systolic and the diastolic number. If your diastolic number, which is the bottom number, if that's out of range, then you're nutrient deficient. So it's a difference. So if someone is deficient in something, that means the body has it already inside of it. It just needs to be used properly. So if a student makes a D in school, the information is there, it's just not put together correctly. So we say they get a D for deficient, as opposed to insufficient. If you go to the bank and it says insufficient funds, then it's not there. So you need to put that into your diet. So insufficient means it's not in your diet, you need to put it in there. Deficient means it's in your diet, it's just not being used properly. So then that means you have a hormonal issue. So, sorry my video got cut off, but so if your diastolic number is out of range, that means you have a nutrient deficiency. That means you have a hormonal issue. So you would need to go into herbs like ashwagandha and rhodiola, things of that sort. So to kind of get your hormones working properly. But also know water, if you're not drinking enough water or consuming enough water through your foods, then your hormones are already off, because your body uses a hormone called estrogen to hold on to water and to hold on to fats. So if you're not drinking enough water, which many of us do not do, then your hormones are already out of balance. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're drinking enough water the rest of the day, or consuming it through foods. So if you're not drinking enough water, your estrogen levels get thrown off, which throws off your testosterone levels, which throws on your progesterone levels. So one thing leads to another. But it's easy, and it's let me say this, it's simple to be healthy, but it's not easy. Not in this concrete jungle right here. And I distinguish between the words easy and simple. When I say something's easy, that means the task itself is something that's is not difficult to do. Well, let me just put it this way. Simple would be you picking up a car and putting it on top of a house. That's simple, but it's not easy. All you gotta do is move this and move it up. That's simple, meaning that it's not many tasks involved into it. But easy means it could be done with ease, meaning that, you know, you need to walk, you put one foot in front of the other as walking. That's easy and simple. So I kind of distinguish between those two. Hope you didn't get lost with that. But yeah, so just keep in mind that the food that we consume is also parallel to the relationships we have with other people in our families. So if we're destroying the food, we destroy the family of vitamin B, the family of vitamin C, which Europeans they don't call it family because family structure is complicated to them. It's not easy, it's not simple, so they call it a vitamin B complex or vitamin C complex or A complex. These are complexes for them, whereas it's simple and easy for us. You know, well, it was at one point. So understand that the melanin that you have in your body is a synchronizing chemical that allows you to bond with all things in nature. So the first internet is you walking outside barefoot. That's the internet. You connect to everybody on earth. And that's when you go into telepathy and understanding other people's thoughts. And, oh, I thought about it at the same time, or we thought about this at the same time, or I just thought about you, and then you called me or whatever. That's not just happenstance. That's something that's actually something we can tap into on a higher degree. We may get it here and there, but we were able to do that a lot stronger before. So understand that some of these sciences that we think are sciences or technological advances are just handicaps for us, or takes away our own natural abilities. You don't want to rely on anything too much outside of self. The whole avatar has everything built into it already. So it's amazing how you can take a dog and you can take the dog 4 or 5 blocks from where they live, and they'll find their way back home. But we have trouble, navigating the earth or navigating the streets that we live in without a GPS system, because that's been taken away from us. You see, we rely on these so-called technological advances. I say so-called quotation advancement in quotation marks, but yeah, this is some things to think about. Just making this video while it's slow right now. So it's a beautiful day outside. Well, it's cold, but it's still pretty out here. So kind of give you guys a visual out here a little bit. But yeah. I won't get this video too much longer, so remember, there's a lifestyle, not a diet. I'll be doing another video with Lamar here soon, so you'll see an interview with us. So, but anyway, stay healthy out here, stay fit. Peace.